So what if we knew why and how we chose the people we chose?
Yes, we choose all sorts of people in our life, and people come into our lives, they have an effect, they stay with us, sometimes they leave, but we start in our lives with our parents, if we're lucky, most of us are. And so what we're going to talk about today...
It's hard to start without your parents.
Well, do we know them? There are people that are not lucky enough to be born in connection with their parents. And so what we're going to talk about today is, how do you choose? And how do the people around you influence you, consciously and unconsciously, for your life?
Yes, because sometimes we make really good choices, and sometimes those choices aren't so good in our love relationship, in our friend relationships, and we don't necessarily understand, there's the relationships that we repeat over and over again. Why are we doing that? There's all sorts of thought about it, but we've actually studied that as part of our work, and what it turns out is that we are most comfortable with people who have natural numbers that we're most familiar with.
It's a very, very high percentage, 80-90% of the people that you hang out with and you're comfortable with are as a result of being comfortable from a relatively young age with that natural number. As we've mentioned many times, in families the numbers don't repeat. So you're actually going to be very, very comfortable potentially with people that have made you very comfortable in their lives, which...
Or uncomfortable with those.
Uncomfortable, exactly.
So we give love from the movement area of our body that's activated by our natural number. So you're used to receiving love in a very particular physical way and a very particular kind of energy that comes from and the expression of love from each of the natural numbers. And on top of that, you're used to that physicality, that energy signature, and when it doesn't work, you're also used to how that feels.
So your nature, when you're born, your natural number comes in whole and is affected by everything that happens in your life, and that nurture sits on top of that nature. And as we are 50% animals, 50% more than that perhaps, but we respond with our bodies, and our bodies are used to very much responding at a very different level than perhaps we're conscious of, and feeling at a different level than we're conscious of, and interacting at a level different than we're conscious of. And so, a prime example, if you are lucky enough to have wonderful parents, then those natural numbers and those energies and that feeling of being loved will resonate with you for your entire life.
Right, and you run into people of that natural number, they will be attractive to you. You will like to be with them. You will want to be with them because you're used to that form of the expression of love.
So when we use the term attraction here, we're talking about our bodily attraction. We're not talking about, okay, we've been taught by whatever media that this is a particularly beautiful picture. So the interaction with someone's beauty and attractiveness are not necessarily connected. We've all had the experience, I think, of finding someone really, really attractive that just doesn't resonate with us. We think, oh, that's an attractive person. We go up to them and there's just no connection. And vice versa, it's like you meet someone who's like, well, yeah, they're okay. I mean, they seem to have a nice personality perhaps. And you go up to them and say, wow, I've got this really great connection with them, because you can communicate with them in a way that is very, very deeply rewarding for you.
It's familiar too.
Yes.
Very familiar. Especially in your youth, in the teen years, when you first start to have crushes, you often, like the really big crushes are on the natural numbers that you know really well. So the time where your stomach drops and your heart rate races, and those are attraction that combines that familiarity with that physical attraction.
Now, you've probably heard the phrase that we marry our parents, and we believe this is a very strong reason behind that. The other part of this, though, is also true in that when you marry your parent, there's often parent-child wounds that perhaps need to get healed. And one of the things that we help people understand is that just because you're attracted to someone that's like your parents doesn't mean this is the person you should be resolving that trauma with.
Right, and we can have multi-generational trauma and not even know that it exists in our family. So if your parents' parents, had stuff going on that you don't know about, which rarely do we actually know about the problems in the families a generation or more away.
Yes. There's a case to be made, so
yeah.
Just keep going.
and that intergenerational trauma is part of the energetic patterns that you're also familiar with. And so learning about what is the nature and how does that nature nurture you in an effective way is one of the ways that you break those intergenerational traumas.